Welcome to another piano book. It's incredibly windy up here, so I wonder if we should just go somewhere a little bit more sheltered. I don't know if you got any of that, but welcome to another piano book. This week we go from the sublime to the mildly ridiculous, given the effort, to simply miraculous. But first, do you remember last week John Mayer made a soft drum kit? And true to the spirit of Piano Book, David Hillowitz offers his assistance, but also made this fantastic film.
So last week, John Mayer, who is a fellow YouTuber and filmmaker and composer, released a free sample pack called Soft Drums. If you haven't downloaded it yet, you definitely should. It's like absolutely amazing sounding. They're basically drums that were played with brushes so that they can blend perfectly with like softer kinds of music. Really, really good stuff. Anyway, I helped him a little bit with this like kind of weird contact glitching issue he was having. But one thing I didn't get to do was to fix the hi-hats. He had wanted originally it to behave like a traditional drum library where if you hit the open hi-hat and then you hit the close hi-hat, it silences the open hi-hat.
Well, I've actually got a multi-track of that session, full broken up into the different drums because I'm using this amazing Expert Sleepers ES9. And I thought I'd offer that out to the community to possibly make a modular drum kit of your very own, and indeed experiment with David Hillowitz's technique for dampening the hi-hat. I'd also be fascinated to know how you'd go about doing this on the EXS24, if any of you fancy having a go. Worth mentioning that when I'm trying the different drums out, I'm going through the various different kind of settings that you can have on the modules. It'd be well worth experimenting with whether these can be different velocity layers or indeed round robins. Next up, Dan Keane has been up to his, well, very young tricks again.
I don't know about you, but I find quite a lot of the sampling process, about the final third, to be quite an unmusical one. Obviously you need inspiration to spawn these sounds in the first place, but intent quickly becomes computer-based administrative tasks like labeling files, setting up your region loops, and programming the sampler. And only after all of these things are done can you finally reveal if Frankenstein made a monster. And sometimes it really does surprise you when you realise that what you first thought would be great actually sounds terrible. So this week we're going to be doing a sample library of My Viola Behind. I've called this library Soft String Spurs because I want it to have that feeling of growing from a single note, a single seed, if you will.
And here they are. I'm excited about this, Dan. Such amazing work that you're doing at the moment. I'm in love. You're going to cost us all a lot of time. Just one thing I noticed, just for people downloading this, is I'm so terrible at this part of the interface, but it came with this stuff turned up to controller 21, and it meant that it didn't have any sound. So just make sure you turn controller 21 down. Just stunning. Instruments from Saturn. Just a real gift to the community. Thank you so much. From the sublime to something just, well, incredibly awesome. Something I hinted at last week, Requiem. I don't know if you've managed to have a peek at this already, but this is a real special treat for Piano Book. Who would have thought? In the summer of 2018, says Angus Robert Carey, who has contributed massively to Piano Book already, thanks to you, sir. He spent the day at his local church sampling the pipe organ. With hundreds of audio files to edit, I didn't have any time or energy to make the instrument into a viable commercial product. However, with the help and encouragement from the Piano Book community, bless you all, I found the drive over December to make this organ a reality. And boy, have you had your work cut out for you. Look at all of those groups. Insane. So let's have a little play. all of these harmonics you can play with. Has such a kind of intimate quality to it without the quartain. And let's have a look at some of these different mic positions. That's not a very good chord, sorry. So really intimate. I guess this is room. Beautiful. Beautifully recorded as well. Wide, close, and then I guess that's a reverb. Thank you again, a truly wonderful contribution. There is some sad news in an article linked below. A unique piano which was treasured by the Canadian virtuoso Angela Hewitt as her best friend was broken beyond repair when it was dropped by specialist instrument movers. Ouch. It was very rare because it was the only Fazioli, or one of two Fazioli I believe, that had 4 pedals. The article doesn't explain what the 4 different pedals do, but Paolo Fazioli had an interesting insight about the 4 pedals. He says he will never fit 4 pedals ever again to an F278, I guess that's the piano model, because it was such a pain in the arse. And someone, when referring to piano, said every single piano is different. We know this. And you grow with them and they change as they age and you develop together. For a pianist at that level, a piano becomes an extension of your body. That's why she dragged it around for her recordings. If only she'd come to us before they dropped it, to archive it for future generations. Talking of which, I'm about to go on holiday and I've got this book to go with me. It is The Lost Pianos of Siberia, an extraordinary cadence journey into music, exile and landscape. Looks very much up our alley, so to speak. Right, now on to a couple of very interesting samples. What I love about Piano Book is it's becoming a go-to place for just that sample that you need for that one-off cue in something factual, that kind of stuff, and this is no exception. A Hove flute by Stefingo Unison. Sorry, as always, for my appalling attempts at pronunciation. This is a set of Peruvian panpipes picked up at a local music store in the Brighton and Hove area in the spring of 2019, authentically sampled in the bedroom of a flat share through a modest Zoom H2N stationed on the nightstand in front of my nice set of pipes. A light noise reduction pass was performed whilst cutting the samples. Hopefully it renders some good things under your talented fingers. I think by that he refers to the community at large. Let's try them with some untalented fingers. I can feel an homage to Ennio coming on. Considering you've done that through a Zoom, I'm really impressed by the quality of the sound. And it's great because it's really mellow, but eminently playable as well. Thank you so much for a wonderful contribution. This one is just mental. Situated in the heart of the Lake District, this lithophone sits in the Keswick Museum. It was built in 1840 after 13 years of construction. Was it worth it? Wait and see. It is the second of 2 built, so it's not looking promising. The first, built in 1785, consisted of only 2 octaves. This lithophone has a 5-octave range and is tuned more accurately. The stones are slate taken from a nearby mountain Skiddaw, which stands as the 6th highest peak in England. That's not saying much. It's also where I grew up. Thank you so much, Mr. Harry Binns. I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting experience. What's wonderful about this is you've archived that sound for us, and hopefully we thank you for it. But a real treat within your offering is this fantastic glockenspiel. It's one of the better ones that I've heard. Has a kind of horrific quality that I love. That is kind of my favourite part of human endeavour, where the result really doesn't warrant the amount of effort involved. But thanks again for a very interesting set of samples. Now, as promised, something truly miraculous. Now, I don't know if it's because of a recent loss in my own life that I'm feeling emotional, but this entry moved me to tears, both when I read about it and when I played it for the first time. I'm truly moved that you would contribute something so intimate to Piano Book. From Joshua Meltzer, who has contributed so much already, I have a recording of my son's ultrasound. It's a combination of his heartbeat and in utero sounds. See what I mean? I used his heartbeat on several recordings, but I thought it would be cool to make a pad out of the other sounds in the womb. Room sounds are common, womb sounds not so much. Bless you, Joshua. Let's have a listen to this. Oh, to hear a miracle. It's not only these amazing contributions in the shape of sample instruments and assistance to one another that's so fantastic about Piano Book, it's also these amazing demos that help people kind of understand what the samples are and whether it's worth downloading them for their projects. We have now crossed the 400 demo mark. That is insane. I think we're actually at about 420. And this leads me on to something I mentioned a couple of episodes back about the Piano Book Music Library, or the Production Library. We're entering into negotiations on that, and I will keep you posted as soon as I have any more news. But I'm also really looking forward to sharing with you what I think the concept in my own head, which gives it a real USP. In other news, we are going to be teaming up with Piano Day this year, and if you have a look at this video for a future Modular Monday, just bear that in mind, because we've got something truly exciting up our sleeves. Talking of which, it is, after all, about pianos. We do have a piano this week from Aaron Newberry and Matt Lowry. I've been following Christian's vlog since episode 1, you poor sod, and have been ever intrigued by the idea of sampling an instrument of my own. So your good friend Philip Hunsicker graciously allowed yourself and your friend Matt Lowry to bring this Helpenstill Roadmaster 64, which apparently is very rare, to your studio to have a go at it, and you had a lot of fun, and I'm hoping this is something of a starting point, as I'd very much like to continue to contribute to this incredible community. Thank you so much. Well, let's have a listen. When you've got quite a mono sound like this, something I would recommend, which maybe one of you want to try, is to actually force pan the notes, just to give you a sense of low is left, high is right, and the middle is somewhere in the middle. It might be worth trying, just to force a bit of a stereoscopic image. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to alter the release, add a bit of splosh, and when I say a bit, I mean a lot. And then just let's try, with the possible exception, sorry John Mayer to leave you out of this particular experiment, everything mentioned today is linked below. Pianobook.co.uk, a place to download amazing sample gems for free to use on your music, on your productions, whatever it is you do, but also a place to upload your demos, to upload your own miraculous adventures in sampling. So do subscribe if you haven't done already. Ding that bell if you want to be notified the next time we put a video up, and one of those for everyone's efforts. I'm somewhat distracted because there's an absolutely terrifying looking snowstorm coming this way. Take a look at this. Oh dear. Right, come on kids, let's get back down before we get completely stranded and cause an embarrassment to ourselves. See you next time.